What up, everybody out there in podcast land? Thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Kane and Ross present the Yeah I Said It podcast. We're expressing without full capabilities until they might want us in correctional facilities. Brainchild of my child, I'm the dad half of this operation, Ross Cooper. As always, I am rocking with the best. My co-host, Kane, talk to the folk.
If I tell you I'm good, probably you say that I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know I'm lying. well, what's good, everybody? Hope everybody's had a good week. And you know the drill. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. If you're OG, listen on other platforms, share with your peoples too. And thank you for listening, and appreciate the support that we've been getting lately. And keep it up. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it.
All right. So it is March. Oh my. Caesar would be worried right now. Beware the Ides of March, right? March 10th, 2021. But March got a lot of stuff to it. And first and foremost, it is Women's History Month. I personally don't think women get enough credit. I firmly believe that the future is female. Anyone who knows me knows I believe the future is female. Quite honestly, we are where we are because people with penises, primarily white people with penises, have screwed things up. So I'm about tired of that, and I firmly believe that the future is going to be female. Um, to that end, I do want to take a moment while it is Women's History Month. I want to take a second to shout out the great women in my sphere, in my world. I am here because of great Black women. I am here because Black women never gave up on me. And in all fairness, one white woman as well. But I definitely want to take a second to acknowledge the amazingness of women, of Black women in particular. As you can see, my shirt reflects that. This is the shirt actually I got from Black Owned Company. The name escapes me which company I got it from, but Black Owned Company, definitely want to support. They got a really lot of cool stuff on there. But yeah, it's please the AOCs. If you want to go political, the Stacey Abrams, Serena Williams, Beyonce, the list goes on, making history. Lizzo, Meg Thee Stallion, those who just cause trouble for the establishment, and unapologetically Black women that you know fight the fight. And I think it's high time us brothers stand next to them in general, not just famous, but in general, stand next to our Black queens and support and build with, and let's you know, pave a new path into some new cool Black stuff. But Kane, please.
Um, yeah, piggyback everything you just said. Yeah, props to the color women out here. I know it's hard, and usually don't get as much support as we should, but in the future, hopefully that will change. And yeah, everything you just said was you said there. You said it all, so ain't much for me to say.
Death to the fuck boys, death to the Tory Lanes that want to shoot people in the foot. Clowns like Kevin Samuels, like some of these trash brothers out here that don't represent what I think certain Black men are about. I'm fortunate enough to know a lot of brothers that's about that life, that's about support and uplift and partnering with and building with Black women and not tearing them down. So props to them. But yeah, ladies, you are literally the most educated demographic on the planet. That's not up for debate. They're out here raising families and opening businesses and blazing trails. And please, and again, the same way Black History Month is really every month. Women's History Month, Women's Appreciation is every month, every day. So I definitely want to put that out there.
Wouldn't be you.
Ah, right, right. So now we got to have things take a little bit of a turn. All right. So as you well know, we have said numerous times we are getting tired of having to have the same conversation. Sadly, Rochester, New York, sister city to my birth city, Buffalo. Rochester, New York is just the gift that keeps on giving. And I don't mean that in a good way. So, not so long ago, we had these Rochester pigs pepper spraying a 9 year old. And now we have these Rochester pigs pepper spraying a woman with her toddler. So, as I read the article and look for things, apparently she was accused of stealing from a store. Pigs roll up on her. She got her toddler. She opens her purse and says, look, there's nothing in here. Um, Pig was like, well, let's go back and make sure, so on and so forth. She bolts with her toddler. They chase her down, take her toddler and pepper spray her. And I'm thinking to myself, if you have not robbed a bank, if you are not sitting here with a duffel bag full of money, um, seems a bit excessive to me. But then the treatment we seem to get from these pigs always seems excessive. It always seems to be the worst case scenario. And as you and I have talked about, and as you have said way too many times, well, at least she's alive. But I really want to come on this show next week and not have anything to report about pigs doing something grimy, because it's like, just for the listeners out there, it's not like I go looking for this stuff. It's not like I'm sitting here trolling online. Let's see what cops did wrong this week. No, this shit just comes and it's like, and then with Rochester PD, don't you understand you're already under the microscope? From Daniel Prude, from pepper spraying a 9 year old. Don't you understand you were already under the microscope? And it's like, I'm really starting to think it's pathological. I'm really starting to think you have some kind of mental sickness that you can't help yourself, because pepper spraying a woman with a toddler, I'm not even that at least based on the reports I've read, was not threatening to you, did not have a weapon or anything. I don't, what could she possibly have stolen that warranted that?
Well, saying is she bolted, so she tried to run away. So since she tried to run away and didn't follow directions, she's warranted. That's fair game now.
Oh yeah, you should have complied, right?
Looking black. Yep.
Stop resisting.
Pretty much.
Those famous last words. Sadly, it's got like the brother that was jaywalking. Should have complied. Should have stopped resisting.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he's dead now though.
Well, at least she's not dead. I mean, you might be blind for a couple minutes, but at least you're not dead.
I mean, this is, if I sound exasperated, it's only because I am, and it's like, and like I said, I haven't gotten any responses yet. I don't know if you have an inbox or what have you, but I'm equal opportunity. As I said before, if you have footage of black cops kicking the shit out of white people, I want that too, because what I want to make it very clear is, yes, while the police force nationally is overwhelmingly white and male, all the police, at least for me, are under the same umbrella. We've said numerous times, I don't feel any safer if it's a black cop. I don't feel any safer,
Right.
you know. And I get it. Some people want to say, well, this is a media creation. This is the media hyping up all of the white cops on black crime. Well, I mean, on black people. I'm like, well, then shit, stop doing it.
Pretty
you
much.
know,
Yeah.
like, because I'm like, and it goes back to, it might, and stay with me on this one. It goes back to the issue with the riots and the protesters. And here's what I mean. Worst case scenario, right? If this young lady was hiding something, stole some Listerine or whatever, right? And ran and they didn't bother to catch her. What's the store out of? $8? Whatever you took, even if it was more than that, whatever you took is covered through loss prevention insurance, so on and so forth. So let me get this straight. You chased a woman with a toddler down and pepper sprayed her in front of her child over what, $100, $200?
I hate this. You shouldn't have been stealing. If you were stealing, you just wouldn't have it.
Here's the trick. I don't see anything that said she did.
I know. That's the funny thing.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Like, yeah, Eric Garner should have been selling them loose cigarettes. He shouldn't have been in illegal activity. He wouldn't have got choked out.
If she was being a modern, a good citizen, like none of this would happen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it's all her fault, really.
Right, exactly. Because I'm like, and to me, it goes back to this country's obsession with stuff, with things over people. And that's why I said it goes back to the protest. Remember, nobody cared that George Floyd was executed. They cared more. Why are they protesting? Why are they burning stuff? All of this shit is insured. It's buildings. You can rebuild the building. We can't get George Floyd back. But this country's and this culture's obsession with stuff. Wait, with property. Because remember, your boy Kyle Rittenhouse was out there to defend property. Motherfucker, you don't own a building. What? This building don't mean nothing to you.
Apparently it does, because insured buildings are more important than black lives.
Let's protect the buildings from protests. Fuck your building.
Yeah, it's
just like it's stuff. Lives are being lost, and you are all worried about stuff. Like, but hey, and it's all around. That's not a racial thing per se. It's all around because I the era I grew up in. Folks is willing to fight you over Jordans.
Still,
you step on my Jordans, we gonna fight.
Nah, you gonna get shot. There's a difference.
I'm like, fam, I don't care what you paid. It's an $8 sneaker, B. We gonna sit here and beef because I accidentally stepped on your $8 sneaker. Seriously?
I paid $200 plus for that shoe.
Now you really look stupid. But we gonna sit here and fight over your $8 sneaker. That's what we gonna do.
Yep. That's important. That's disrespectful. You can't be stepping on my shoes. So I stepped on my Timbs and made them scuff faster.
It's just the obsession with, and we buy into it, hook, line, and sinker. We buy into the importance of stuff. People want to make money so they can buy stuff. It's one person, but I need 5,000 square feet on an acre of land away from everyone. Like, what's wrong with you, dog? Like, it's just you. I need 4 cars. Like, fam, yo, $2 million Bugatti and my Prius gonna get to the same place. And I know it's an oversimplification. And no, it's really not. I have a car, you have a car. We both gonna get there. But without going too far off point, that's what I'm saying. Like, so this black woman got tackled to the ground and pepper sprayed because rightfully, and this one is racial. You don't know the fear of dealing with police if you're not black. You don't know what that feels like. You don't probably look when you're going this way and a cop is in the other lane going that way. You don't know what it is to look in your rear view to see if they made a U-turn or not. So I get what you're saying. You should have just complied or that. Like, you're literally minutes away from life and death dealing with these pigs. That is not an exaggeration. It's like I would love to say this is hyperbole. I'd love to say you're going too far. No, we have example after example to show I'm not going too far. It's exactly that. So I get where you're gonna get the should have complied. You're gonna get that crew. Why'd she run? Because she was probably scared shitless. And again, let's play along. Worst case scenario, she stole something. We talking about what? $10, $20, even what, $200 or something. I mean, she had it in her bag, so I don't know where it could have went. But you talking about little bits of stuff, and you want to chase her down and pepper spray her.
Cause I'm Judge Dredd. I am the law.
I am the law.
at
You're right. You're right. You're right. I am the law.
least Judge Dredd didn't choose execution this time.
Right.
They
Yeah,
they,
at
they,
least we didn't get that.
they didn't
At least we
accidentally
didn't get that.
grab for the pepper spray and somehow grab the gun. But oh, I thought this was pepper spray.
Okay. But then remember the part where I've always said, and I think this is the part people forget, the quote unquote police force are literally descendants of slave catchers. This is what their purpose was. Speaking of slaves, another interesting thing happened in March. You're going to have to forgive me because it appears my laptop may have died and I don't have the facts readily available like I can usually pull up. But the Dred Scott decision was in March as well. And the Dred Scott decision, I make this, I would say, make this a part of your White History Month reading. Because, well, we're going to have Black History Month. Cool, you're right. So make this a part of your White History Month reading. It is the case that decided Black people are not really human. So, let's see. Dred Scott, Supreme Court, mind you, the Supreme Court. Now, so remember, America's the greatest country on earth, and if you don't like America, you can leave and make America great again. I have questions. I think we all did, but I have questions. When exactly was America great for Black people? When? Please point me to that direction. Point me to that era. I need to know about that era because in the I do believe it was 1850s. Dred Scott, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, said, "Hey, you're property, legal property." He tried to sue for his freedom, and the Supreme Court told him, "Nah, you just property, fam. You're bad. You just property." And I'm skipping some of the details here, but it's just I was looking at things that happened in March besides Women's History Month, and it's like I think it is forgotten. Yo, there's a swath of people in this country, a swath of white people that think we're making this up. We're get over it. Oh, it's so long ago. Oh, why are you still mad? We were literally property, fam. Property. And it was legal. That's the thing. Like, I admit that's hard for me to process. That's hard for me to process. Like, I hear it, I understand it, but I can't quite process that the highest court in the land was like, "No, you're just property." Like, there's not a lot of difference between you and the chair, you and the horse, you and the donkey. There's not a lot of difference here.
Right.
Like, and you're, of course, a generation after me. Like, how does that? Can you process like we were property?
Nah, I can't. But I mean, that's our history and U.S. history. And it was March 6, 1857, when they ruled
Thanks, sir.
that they made a decision that he resided in a free state, but he was still not entitled to his freedom. So yeah, like it's hard to get over something that used to be property and you're seen as less than a dog. And sometimes it's to even now we're seen as less than a dog. I
Mike
love
Vick.
dogs. So I'm not dissing dogs or cats, but it's a fucking dog. We're people. So like why are y'all more mad about Michael Vick's situation than you are about slavery and other situations? Like, come on, like stop it. But it's hard to believe, and thank the Lord I wasn't born in that time because I don't think I would be made for it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I think, I could. You know what? I think I know I wouldn't have made it. I don't think I'd have made it in that time. But I know here's the funny thing. If I had to weigh it on a scale of which era I had a better shot at survival, it probably literally would have been the slave era because at least the law of the land says, "Look, you property," and I'm fighting the whole system. It's a difference in the civil rights era with Huey and Malcolm and that era where I know I'm supposed to be free and you still treat me like I'm not. I think I'd have had a tougher time in that era because I know at that point, to a certain degree, the law is on my side, and I know you just being abusive, so I can kick one of these pigs in the face, or I, I can do a different, because I'm like, at this juncture, it's no longer legal. Slavery is no longer legal. It's not the law of the land. You're just being an asshole now and trying to twist it against me. So ironically, I think I might have survived in the slavery era more,
Nah,
only because
like I said, I would rather choose the '60s because, like I said, at least you're free. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. But I can defend myself. I got the Panthers behind me. I got my Muslim brothers behind me with Malcolm, so I'm good. Slavery? Oh hell no! Whipping me, raping people, my girl, whatever. Uh, nah, I couldn't do it. Lynch me,
yeah,
lynch me. I'll be lynched probably 10 days after I'm born. So I'm not doing it.
yeah, I might, I don't know if I would have sparked it off,
I
but if
would
somebody was like, "Yo, slave revolt when the sun go down," bet,
bet.
bet. I let me know, let me know. Like I'd have been with the shits for sure, but oh yeah, the '60s and '70s, in the '50s and '60s, I'd have definitely caught an ass whooping her for. Because I'm like, yeah, you ain't got nah. But like I said, it is just indicative, and I think white people need a better some of the white people in this country, they need a better understanding of history. I think they romanticize this ideal of what America is. Land of the free, home of the brave. It's Bruce Springsteen and born in the USA. No, it's none of those things. Or at least it's not only those things, it's rarely those things. And it's a very myopic white view to have, because you think since laws have changed, mentality has changed. And I thought I'd go back to what you said years ago. You said nothing's changed. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Everything's changed. And then I had to really sit and think about it. You're right. The only thing that's changed are laws, but you have not changed the spirit that put those laws in place in the first place.
And those laws are not designed for us. That's the problem that people don't seem to understand. Like most of the laws that they make is not with our best interest in hand. So yeah, that's why I said nothing has really changed. And I don't, like I said, I don't know how you kill a mentality. I really don't.
Time.
I mean, that's how stuff gets passed down. Like I understand what you're saying. If all the old racist white people die out, which they will soon, but when that happens, uh, will we have still racist old white people or racist white people? And I say yes, because they're going to pass down their views to their kids and their grandchildren. So I don't
Well,
know what
it
to do with it.
well, it goes back to something I mentioned to you before, though. The reason I think it takes time. You're right. Some of this is going to pass down, no matter what, right? Some is going to a little bit is a little less of it is going to pass down each generation. But we're at a different time, and here's what I do mean. You rewind back to the '60s, okay? So we're talking what 50 or so years ago, 50, 60 or so years ago, right?
Okay.
Up until that point, a white man could wake up and tell his kid, white son, look, we are undisputably masters of this land. And you walk outside your door and everything confirms it, right? White people run, white men run everything. Even white women are pretty much, subjugated, subservient to certain degrees. Every position in politics, everything that mattered was white male controlled. That was then. Now, fast forward, that kid's son has a son. So now you're talking '60s, '80s now. So if you want to keep that same backwards ass mentality and say, hey, white son, we are undisputably masters of everything in this country. Okay. And then little Jimmy walks outside and wait a minute, there's a Lizzo. Wait a minute, there's trans people. Wait a minute, there's gay people. Wait a minute, there's brown people. What do you mean I mastered the world? There's so many people who don't look like me running things, initiating change. If I want to be cool, I have to see what the black people are doing. If I want, a different kind of food, I have to see my Latin. But so you see what I'm saying? So the difference here is once upon a time, not so long ago, when a white man told his white son, we run everything, you walk out the door and it was all confirmed true. You can't do that right now.
It still is to a certain extent. I mean, look at who we have in our politics. It's still an old white man. We'll look who most CEOs are. It's still old white men. So it's not really completely different. Now, granted, like you said, in terms of popularity and influence, black people has risen and stuff. Like you said, celebrities and all that. And there's more black billionaires than ever. But other than that, you look at in the grand scope of things, it's still white run, still male, old white male running things.
But and I hate to go with the obvious names, but there is a Jay-Z. Jay-Z does exist. Oprah does exist. Tyler Perry does exist. I don't know if you just saw it, and maybe this is something to discuss next week. Timbaland and Swiss just had a chunk of verses sold.
Yeah, I seen that.
Right. So I don't, I'm hearing mixed things on that. Some people like, oh, y'all sellouts. Y'all went and built this all black culture and then sold it to white people. I don't know. I gotta dig a little deeper on that one before I jump on that train. But we are, and Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whichever era you came from, has been a quote unquote tastemaker for decades. So I get what you're saying, but even in high places, you see, if I'm not mistaken, Uber's CEO is Indian.
No,
So I get what you're saying.
yeah, I'm clear about what I said. Like I agree with you that there's more prominent black and colored figures. That's what I said. That I'm just saying the main thing that's running things, passing these laws and all that to actually help us, still older white men. Cops are still mostly majority white men. So people that control your everyday lives are still older white men. So that's what I'm talking about.
I
If
see
they
your point.
pass it on, but yeah, some stuff has changed. Like you said, you do have your black influencers doing some good things out here. So it's not just primarily white stuff, but they still run majority of stuff, in my opinion. So, but that will
Okay.
change. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's changing as time goes on, so on and so forth. So but it's not the case though, because like you said, well, how do you kill a mentality? Time, time. It's gonna take generations because look, the 60s wasn't that long ago. There were literally people sitting in Congress that were alive, adults, not kids, that were adults before the Civil Rights Act was passed. You know, so
Like,
you gotta, Biden's freaking 80. So 60 years ago, he was what, 20-ish? So he was an adult. And you gotta wonder, like, how many people in Congress have used the N-word in a very derogatory way? Well, it's all derogatory, honestly. But what are the chances some of these old fogies have used the N-word and maybe not have changed their mentality? But I do, like I said, I do get what you're saying. How do you kill a mentality? It takes time. It just takes time because society is different. The reason, even in slavery times, there were white people who saw it was morally wrong, but it was the law of the land. It was literally the law. What you gonna do? Fight the law? You got your John Browns out there. Shout out to John Brown. You got your John Browns out there now and again, but on average, it's the law. Like I'm sure there were plenty of white people who didn't saw the moral conundrum of slavery, but you ain't gonna fight the law. But from the Civil Rights Act forward, it's like the world's changing now. So you say that we run everything, and as time keeps going, it don't look that way. It doesn't look that way. So it's just going to take more time. Um, some people, in some instances, it took interracial and biracial kids. You got the old white grandfather, but his grandson has a kid with a black woman. What you gonna do? Hate a baby?
I mean, I do know some stories about people being disowned and blacklist them families. I know that personally, but like you said, I guess the best cure would be that in the future that most people, humans in this country and maybe in this world will be biracial or mixed with something. So maybe then that's how you kill it off. Because if I'm mixed with everything, if I'm mixed with something, I'm not just black or white or whatever. I'm biracial. So that will help kill racism to a certain extent. But other than that, it's like I don't. If you keep passing it down or whatever, which I do know some racist people too, see it online all the time, and the Karens as well. But they just keep passing it on. So it's like I don't know. Hopefully
Well,
you're
I
right
think,
in
yeah,
time.
I think the tone is different. Like, you got to understand, while they were irritating, you got to understand it wasn't cool to be MAGA. Like, if you, of course, weren't alive, but if you rewind back to the 80s, to the Reagan 80s, it was cool to be kind of a rich white racist prick. It was the stock market, it was Reaganomics, it was Gordon Gekko, greed is good. That they made that shit look cool. Now, MAGA didn't look cool. They wanted to portray themselves as some anti. No, MAGA didn't look cool. And even now, the Karens don't look cool. So it's nothing to aspire to. Like being like, I remember I told you, I was the first to tell you, I said, some folks going to start calling Karen a quote unquote racial slur. That's because being a Karen is not cool. And being MAGA is not cool. All Trump did was give a name to what we already knew was out there, and they just sat their asses underneath the umbrella for some goofy ass reason. But yeah, that's another thing. It's not cool to be racist anymore. And it's not just black and white anymore either. Our brown brothers and sisters have problems. Our LGBTQ brothers and sisters have problems. So they're getting it from every angle. Like, no, we're not going to be transphobic. You're not going to be homophobic. You're not going to be sexist. You're not going to be racist. So it's a lot of groups pushing back. It's just going to take time. Like you said, just going to take time. But gonna shift gears slightly. And for all hip hop heads, March 9th lives in infamy. As Cannabis said in the second round knockout, greatest rapper of all time died on March 9th. That would be Biggie Smalls. Now, you were born in a very interesting space in hip hop history. Because a month before you were born, September 13th, Pac died. And I remember where I was when, I heard the news. I knew Pac got shot. And we were like, damn. And no one expected to hear a few days later, Pac died. And I'm like, that was a heart drop moment. And then months later, March 9th, 1997, Big is killed. And that one was felt like I got homeboys from BK that were there when they carried Biggie's casket through Brooklyn. And want to take just a second to talk about the legacy of Biggie. It's funny to me when I hear cats from your generation, talking about, I don't listen to Big. I ain't never listened to Biggie. And I'm like,
I don't know what you're talking about. That's not my generation. That's younger.
oh, that's all y'all. That's all you. That's all your little
That's,
yachty.
that's if you was born in 2000 and later, buddy. Not my generation.
Because I'm like, but I remember where I was when I first heard Ready to Die. I was in the backseat of my man's car. We was going to play football. And I'm like, what is this? And this is during like that stretch of hip hop time where it was just classic after classic. Cause you had Illmatic, you had Enter the 36 Chamber, then you had this Ready to Die. And it's like, what the we ain't heard nothing like that. We hadn't heard anything like that really, because Big took the elements, took the player element of Big Daddy Kane, took the storytelling element of Slick Rick, took the grimy element and the wordplay of a G rap and a little bit of Rakim in there for flow. Think back, you look at Warning, which was one hell of one verse song, like one verse song, Warning, killed it. So to lose big, March 9th, that was like, and we all collectively held our breath because that was the whole East Coast, West Coast beef, and it looks so stupid now. Like it looks so stupid now. But given that you're, all jokes aside, you are a rather unique young man. You have different musical taste than your average 20 something. What are your Biggie Smalls takes?
He's an alien. If we put him on the uh, rap tiers, he's an alien. Like I said, he has a classic album. I haven't heard a whack verse from him, so um, he's a legend. Like I said, I was still young when he died, but growing up, you learn a lot more about him. We got the movie from him, Notorious, which wasn't terrible. Um, yeah,
Did you watch the documentary on Netflix yet?
I
Got a
haven't,
story to tell.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to though. Eventually, I'm gonna get to it. But yeah, BKMC. Shout out to BK. Like I said, maybe he would be because Jay Z kind of had the same. So Jay Z is kind of my Biggie because he kind of had the same
Same trajectory. Yeah,
trajectory.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we will see. Maybe we will see instead of being cocaine rap or drug dealer rap, that Biggie might transform as he got older into what Jay Z is now, was more conscious rap and stuff like that, grown man rap, as you would say. So I think he would be in that same level as Jay Z because they're pretty much identically similar. Both BKMCs, both start off coke rap and all that, and then Jay Z grew up, experienced more, became a billionaire, great businessman, all that, and has grown man rap now. So I wish we got to see the
The
trajectory
art.
of Biggie and Pac too, but
Oh, that's.
that
I, I firmly believe because you just touched on that. I firmly believe it's a possibility Pac would have either been a politician or an enemy of the state at this point. I really believe like Pac would either win the politics or he'd be an enemy of the state and the US would be trying to assassinate him. I firmly believe that.
yeah, probably. His mom was a Panther, so he was definitely a revolutionary. And him now with Black Lives Matter, I'm pretty sure he have a whole album with that. Ooh,
Oh, oh,
that
oh,
could be next.
oh.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh, him with like an immortal technique. But okay, you're right. Back to Big though. Here's the thing, and I don't know if you can answer this, and this is something maybe for my generation of rap listeners. I get the regard we hold Big in, and I get because he died so untimely. When someone dies, you tend to overlook certain things, right? And one of the things we cannot overlook, look, Biggie kind of ushered in the hyper materialism in rap. However, I stay Gucci down to the socks. Like Biggie kind of ushered in the shiny suit era. Now I'm sure, if he hadn't lived, wasn't no way Big was gonna put on no damn shiny suit. Like I'm pretty sure he wasn't putting on no damn Mace shiny suit with Diddy. But Biggie kind of left in the same, and it's interesting the juxtaposition. Pac died before he could really put the context behind the word thug. Because from Pac is where thug kind of permeated pop culture, and he didn't live long enough to put the context behind it and chin check these asshole rappers that are misusing the term, right?
right.
Biggie died and left rap in this very interesting space where you got Diddy now with Mace and shiny suits, and which soon became the bling bling era. And I'm like, but that was Biggie. That was I stay Gucci down to the socks and everything. I got Versace taste, cheese, egg, steak, Welch's grape. He kind of ushered in the hyper materialism in rap, and we kind of give that a pass because he's Biggie. But either way, I gotta watch the documentary. either way, March 9th, 97 was a dark day for hip hop, specifically for Valletta Wallace, for Faith, his kids. Like that was that. A lot of people lost a lot, which leads me, to my other question for you. And again, I think this is one of those conversations where our generational difference might be pretty cool. I'll let you start it off. Based on what you know, based on what you've seen, do you think rap has learned the lesson of Big and Pop?
What in terms of beef?
Beef and in general, but yeah, rap. Do you think rap has learned a lesson of Big and Pop?
Um,
Because I think, and I'll give you a little context here. I think the lesson of Big and Pac, because truth be told, Big and Pac, we tend to forget, Big and Pac were actually boys at once. What set this in the wrong direction was when Pac got blasted in New York and thought Biggie had that set up.
right.
And realistically, this shit spilled over to people that ain't never spit a verse. This was street shit. This was crews that was cool with Big, that was cool with Pac. Like, and that's how shit escalated. And we almost saw it happen again with 50 and Game. So it's like, do y'all get on it? We almost saw it happen again with Jeezy and your boy. I'm like, have y'all learned the lesson like this shit can turn deadly?
Yeah. Well, if you give examples like that, no. But for the most part, I don't think beef. Well, beef to me is actually beef. Like it's street stuff and it's not just rap. And that's what it was with Pac and Big and some of these other rappers. But now it's just rap beef, which is just like a battle rap. So I think most people try not to cross that line to leak into some street shit. So I think we learned a little bit from them. Um, yeah, I think we learned a little bit from them. It's more competitive now, but it's not
Mhm.
nothing personal for the most part. For the most rap beats that's happened in the last couple of years, it hasn't really been personal for the most part, and no one's been killed. I know Nipsey died, but that wasn't because of rap beef. That was just
That was
random.
some other shit. Yeah, that was some other shit.
Yeah, and X and all them other people that died. It was like it wasn't really beef that killed him. It was just some street shit or just bad luck. So
Or some jealousy shit, from what I understand.
yeah, that too. So for the most part, I think we've learned and like you said, West Coast versus East Coast was a media creation. They egged it on. They made it worse than it had to be, and that's why I think it got more personal. So yeah, and now with social media, you can kind of have your own voice and manage what the other media say. So yeah, you can speak your piece. Everybody's a phone call away because everybody knows everybody. Damn near sound the same, so you might as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I think like I said, I think the lesson for the most part has been learned. Because like I said, it's a difference between rap shit and street shit. Like even Beanie Siegel, when Meek was having issues, he was like, "Is this rap shit or this street shit?" And he was like, "Oh, this is just some rap shit." Because Beanie is street dude. Beanie Siegel, Philadelphia rappers who may not be in the know. He a grimy dude. He's rock with Jay and all them state property. But I think I don't know. I don't know if we now though. Everybody swear they're killing. And it's like, and rap, honestly, mainstream rap music in general is just like most of these dudes talking noise and ain't with the exception of Griselda. I don't know whether to shout out Griselda, but because they're the hometown boys. But like most of these dudes talking noise, and it's like, like who knew Takashi wasn't a street dude? You know what I mean? We all thought Takashi was a street dude.
Nah,
Surprise, surprise.
yeah,
Takashi wasn't a street dude.
no, no, no.
So it's like,
No one thought that. Except you.
I mean, I mean, you got known gang members and such in your videos, and you ain't just gonna be rolling with known gang members in your video unless you got the cosign. You know what I mean?
Unless
So
you
I'm like, yeah, who knew Takashi wasn't the street dude?
you paying them, so he paid them for protection and paid them for all that. So yeah, a lot of people do that.
Okay. But I'm like, yeah, that's. I think overall, I think the lessons kind of been learned because ain't nobody trying to die behind rap, man. Like for real, that's because that was the other part when it happened. Having been alive when it happened, that was the like, whoa, shit got real. Like it's not just talking shit on wax no more. It's not just in a studio. Nah, like Cats is really trying to off you in these streets. And it's like if you watch any of Fat Joe's podcast or watch any of Nori's podcast, and he got some of these cats on there telling the stories, like, yeah, it's been some time, especially in New York, shit got real. But I think overall, ain't nobody trying to die over rap, man. There's a lot of talkity talk, yakety yak, tough Tony talk. Ain't nobody trying to die for rap over real. And like I said, it's sad because we almost saw that again with 50 and Game. That almost got ugly. Because Game is gang affiliated, and 50 is just a grimy ass dude. 50 just a grimy dude. So yeah, there's that. But I'm gonna keep it short this week. Just want to make sure we got something out to the people. Recognize, Women's History Month. Run it back, recap from the top. Women, you are awesome. Yes, it's Women's History Month, but every day is a day to honor and pay homage to women, to Black women in particular. Rochester PD, I'm really starting to question your intelligence overall. Like y'all not even smart enough to stop doing dumb shit when the spotlight is on you. I didn't even bother reading too hard into if they got suspended or what. I can't. Like you really just pepper sprayed a mother in front of her daughter. Like y'all trash, bro. Y'all trash. Dred Scott, please make this part of your White History Month studies. You'll start to understand clearer. Like literally, we were treated like the chair, like the donkey, like the lamppost. We were that valuable. We were not considered human for a while. And at beef, yeah, March 9th, dark day. We lost Biggie. I think we've learned enough of a lesson to not duplicate that again. And for now, that's all I got. Your recap, sir.
Yeah, shout out to Black women, shout out to women in general. Wouldn't be here without you. So yeah, props to you. Give you flowers while you're still here. Rochester Pigs, like you said, man, you gotta know it's some sickness because all eyes are on you, and no pun intended with Pac, but all eyes are on you, and you still can't stop with the bullshit. That's crazy, yeah. I need help. I need some group therapy sessions or something. Dred Scott, uh, United States owning people and being legal. Yeah, hit the wing of hell for y'all sometimes. I'm sorry, y'all going there for me, and I couldn't live in that era. I definitely could. No sir, lynch me, probably. Um, Biggie's death, yeah, that's a tough time because we would love to see him and Pac's trajectory in life and see what they would have to say if they were alive and now still, and what type of records they would make, and hopefully they will squash their beef and be and brothers again. So if they were still alive, but yep. I think we and also yep. I think we learned our lesson because like you said, no one's trying to die over rap. It's not that deep. It's just a form, another way of living. Like I'm not trying to die on the football field or at my job, or you either. So it's not worth it. So I think we learned our lesson.
Absolutely. So that's all we got for this week. Next week, though, we're gonna review Coming to America too. Have you seen it yet?
Yep.
All right, yeah, get out and watch. Definitely give it a watch if you haven't finished. It took me a couple days to get through it because I just kept watching it late at night. But we're gonna give our review, the Yeah I Said It podcast review for Coming to America too. It was interesting. I'll say that it was an interesting movie. But in that, same bad time, same bad channel. As always, we thank you for tuning in. Um, yeah, I said a podcast. We will be back next week. Peace.
Yeah.